All right, welcome back. And let's get going on what happened in 49ers practice on Tuesday. The 49ers had this cadence of practices. They go a light day, a heavy day, then a medium day. That's the way they've structured this training camp as their human performance staff has determined that that is the correct way to go about this to reduce injuries and get the most out of these practice sessions. So the light day was Sunday, the 49ers' final non padded practice in the acclimation period. Their heavy day was Monday when they put the pads on for the first time and went, 2+ hours or whatever it was. And then on Tuesday was a medium day. So they were as a padded practice. Some of the guys who did not practice, Michael Williams had what the 49ers called a mild ankle injury. He didn't practice. Ricky Pearsall had a rest day. They really want to manage him. And then, of course, the injury guys, Juwan Jennings continues to be out with the calf injury, and then the hamstring injury for Jacob Cowing, and also for Renardo Green. Deommodore Lenoir did not see him out there. No word on why he missed this practice, but let's get to the practice. And I guess before practice even began, 49ers made a roster addition, signing Jalen Allen to a one-year deal, and the team placed Teron Jackson on injured reserve. Teron Jackson had the neck injury that was a big scare during practice on Sunday. But Allen, he entered the NFL last year as an undrafted rookie with the Denver Broncos and didn't make it to the start of the regular season. And then he ended up going to the UFL, the United Football League, and playing for the Memphis Showboats and the Arlington Renegades. And so he was out there at practice, and he did make one play that kind of stood out to me. It was a play in which he did a really good job of setting the edge. He was playing left end and did a good job of on a running play against number 49, Corey Kiner from Cincinnati. So kind of knocked Kiner down, and a good play for him because as a guy who's coming in late in training camp, it obviously doesn't have much of a chance to make the 53-man roster, but he is clearly angling for a spot on the practice squad. So certainly faces an uphill climb for that because of the late arrival in training camp, but he's getting a look. What else? Well, let's just start off with the kicking game, because I know that that's front and center in everybody's mind. And today was a good day for the kickers. Both Greg Joseph and Jake Moody connected on each of their field goal attempts. Now, I had it listed. It's kind of tough to see from where we were standing, but I'm pretty sure they worked back in increments. I'm pretty sure it ended up with 53-yard field goals from both Joseph and Moody, and that's where they worked up from, say like from 33 to 38 to 43 or 48 to 53, whatever it was. I couldn't exactly tell, but what I can tell you is this, that they both made their kicks, so nobody took a step back. Maybe step forwards for both, but since they're competing against each other, let's call today a wash. But also, I think what's important is that by and large, Greg Joseph and Jake Moody have performed well. So I think it's going to be a close competition if we're keeping track of made kicks and missed kicks. But as I've stated in the past, I do think that it has to be a clear and decisive win for Greg Joseph in order for the 49ers to go with him over Jake Moody. And as well as Joseph is kicking, probably is still going to be out there if the 49ers make that decision to go with Moody. And so then, and I know in the comment section, not a lot of faith in Jake Moody from the fan base, but I would say this, that if Jake Moody does falter once the season starts, then I think Joseph will still be out there, and he would be the most likely guy that the 49ers would turn to. But maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. I continue to be impressed with Russell Gage as a wide receiver. And he made a really good play in practice uh, on Tuesday. Late in practice, it was a play where it was cloud coverage that the defense was playing. It was a red zone drill, and Gage is kind of assigned to that back line. So he's roaming the back line. Purdy put it up to him in traffic, and Gage came down with the ball for what looked to me to be an apparent touchdown. However, I did talk to Russell Gage for the first time since he's been a member of the 49ers, and he asked. It was me and Matt Barrows talking to Russell Gage. We both requested to talk to him, and so we got him, just the two of us. But one of the things that Gage said when asked about that play in practice, "You think I was in? I think I was in." And I said, did they call you out of bounds?" And he said, "Yes." So whether he was in bounds or not, it's kind of beside the point. But what I did ask him was, what does it mean to you to be that well covered on the back line in a red zone drill and Brock Purdy gives you a chance to make a play? And he said, plays like that mean a lot. For him to put it up there, he's throwing it in anticipation, I'm going to be there. And him putting it up there is also in anticipation, I'm going to go up and get it. That meant a lot to me and builds confidence moving forward that he'll let something like that fly for me. So Russell Gage is 29 years old. He's had some really good seasons in the NFL, 70 catch seasons, 700 yards receiving. But then he had that torn patellar back in August of 2023. So 2 years ago, did not play at all that season as he underwent surgery. And then last year was cut from the Ravens. The 49ers did sign him in November to the practice squad. And he said it was with the 49ers the first time in 2 years that he watched himself on film and said, I'm back. So he's had a really good training camp. I'm telling you, he's going to be around, I think. Now, whether he's on the 53-man remains to be seen. When I did my roster projection over the weekend, I did have him making the 53-man roster, but at the very least, keeping him in the building and having him available in case the 49ers need him. But I think the 49ers are going to need him early in the season. With Brandon Ayuk out, more than likely, Demarcus Robinson, question marks about his availability. With Juwan Jennings kind of nursing the calf injury, I think Russell Gage has a chance to be a player for this team and be somebody that contributes from the beginning. So we'll see. I just think I've been impressed. I think he looks really good. Another guy who looks good, another wide receiver, is Jordan Watkins. A little bit more up and down, but this was up. This was a good day for him because he showed that deep speed. Brock Purdy absolutely aired out a deep pass far down the field, like 45 plus yards down the field, that allowed Jordan Watkins to go get it. Darrell Luter was covering him on that side. Safety help from Jason Pinnock, and Watkins hauled that thing in for a long long touchdown. I'm thinking interceptions because I just glanced at my notes, and Brock Purdy did have an interception on this day. Kind of a roll left, throw across the field kind of play, ill-advised, a play that you get away with in practice as you try to test your limits, but threw it right to Luke Gifford, a linebacker who's trying to win a spot on the 49ers as a backup linebacker and a special teams guy. So those were some of the plays on this day that stood out, including Demarcus Robinson climbing the ladder to go catch a Brock Purdy pass. 49ers did a lot of running on this day, and they spread the ball around with the running backs. Christian McCaffrey did practice, but all the running backs getting a lot of touches. So it was a medium day, not a whole lot really other than the plays I talked about. There were some good plays as far as one-on-one battles, wide receivers against the cornerbacks. And I'm just kind of looking at some of the plays that looked good for the 49ers. I have Equanimous St. Brown making a play. Trey Brown with a PBU against Equanimous St. Brown. Kiner makes a catch out of the backfield. Junior Bergen did a good job. Russell Gage was good in one-on-ones. And one of the things it was interesting is I mentioned, Gage is a veteran guy. And Matt Barrows asked him about Upton Stout. And it's amazing to hear some of the veteran guys talk about some of the rookies. And when Gage was talking about Upton Stout, he just paused, took a deep breath, and kind of smiled, and was really complimentary of that young cornerback who's playing the nickelback position. And he says that he loves going up against him because he has that kind of competitive nature that Gage thinks that he has as well. So he has really good battles. He enjoys it. And speaking of really good battles, Colton McKivitz and Nick Bosa, two guys who have very high expectations. In fact, I did talk to Colton McKivitz last week. His goal is Pro Bowl. And, he believes that he's one of the best right tackles in the NFL. And certainly, the grades from PFF bears that out. But during the one-on-ones, there was this just back and forth of Bosa beating McKivitz getting the better of Bosa, and then third rep, it was more of a stalemate. So, that's the thing that Bosa brings to the table is he's very knowledgeable about pass rush. He can help out the guys like Michael Williams and some of the young guys, like even Bryce Huff. But he's also good with the veteran offensive lineman. I just still remember him as a rookie coming off the field daily, talking and comparing notes with Joe Staley and doing the same with Trent Williams. And now it's with Colton McKivitz. So good competitions all the way around. That's kind of been the nature of training camp. And someone asked me, how does this training camp compare to last year's training camp? I'll tell you, man, and we talked about this, me and Jennifer on the 49ers Talk podcast, is that, last year there just wasn't much energy in training camp. It just didn't, it seemed like the team kind of lost its oomph. And a lot of that had to do, it seemed like, with kind of the off the field drama. But I see more fire. And it's not like they're throwing punches. I know there was a scuffle one day with Lenore and Jennings, and there was a little bit of a very brief scuffle today with offensive and defensive linemen. But it just seems like there's more competition, more energy, more fire. So that is the rundown. I'm sure I forgot some stuff as I'm kind of scrolling through my notes here, but those are the major takeaways on this day 6 of 49ers training camp. They have a day off on Wednesday and then back at it on Thursday. So thanks for tuning in. That's it for now.